Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, and 7 years ago, I started a carnivore diet. I lost 120 pounds in that first year with a carnivore diet and some fasting. And then over the last 6 years, I have been maintaining that like 100 to 110 pound weight loss. I found this sweet spot for me, and I kind of like to stay here. Believe it or not, they actually haven't invented any new animals over the last 7 years. So my diet and the foods that I'm eating has remained pretty constant. I have changed maybe how many meals I'm eating or the ratios of things, but the foods, my 7, 8 staple foods that I eat every single week has remained constant. And I can also tell you that in terms of maintaining my weight loss, losing weight, and just overall feeling my best, when I keep my diet limited to just these 8 foods, I feel my best. And so if you're looking for how to start a carnivore diet, how to simplify things, start with these 8 foods, and then you can make some adjustments based on your life. The best thing is these 8 foods are really common pretty much no matter where you live, and they're gonna be readily available at your local grocery store. Stay tuned to the end because I will tell you the bonus food that I eat probably once a week as a little special treat. I have gone back and forth over the last 7 years of having maybe 1 meal a day or 2 meals. I did lunch and dinner for a long time, and I've been in a really good groove lately of doing breakfast and lunch. But honestly, no matter how many meals that I'm eating or what timing of those meals are, bacon and eggs has been a pretty major staple for me all throughout. It's quick, it's easy, it's affordable, it's a great way to get some extra fat in, and it just is something different than just eating meat. It makes me feel like I'm not just eating meat. So eggs, thankfully, are getting more affordable. This carton of eggs was like $3 and change today at the grocery store. This 24 pack of eggs from Costco is back down to $5, just a little bit under $5. And then I typically do get bacon from Costco. You can get the 4 pack, like 4 pounds of bacon for right under 20 bucks right now. So $5 a pound. This was from my regular grocery store, which is gonna be between $5 and $7 a pound, depending on what the sales look like. When I'm buying bacon, I know that oftentimes sugar is listed as one of the ingredients. I'm not personally as concerned about that as long as it still says 0 carbs. I don't want maple bacon or any sugar bacon that's gonna have a bunch of carbs in it. If sugar is one of the ingredients that's just used in curing, as long as it has 0 carbs, perfectly fine by me. I just get regular bacon. Same thing with eggs. I'm just getting regular basic eggs, and I've had great results from that, and they're the most affordable anyway. Right now, since I am eating breakfast most days, I'll have a half a pound of bacon for breakfast, or I'll have 3 or 4 scrambled eggs, put a little bacon in it. But even when I was eating dinner, eggs and bacon or just some scrambled eggs was one of my go-tos for just a quick, easy dinner. Something that's not one of these 8 foods that I do have every single day is a salt-based electrolyte. And I have been using Element electrolytes for about 5 years now. I love the convenience of the packet and the ratio that they have of their sodium, magnesium, potassium, and in their unflavored version, that's literally the only 3 ingredients. And so I just throw one of those in my water in the morning and it keeps me hydrated. I can tell a big difference in my energy levels and just my overall hydration and the way that I feel when I'm not getting proper salt-based electrolytes. They have a wide variety of flavored versions as well, which are sweetened with stevia. And if you go to drinkelement.com/LAURAESPATH, you can get a free sample pack that has some of their most popular flavors in it. You can see which one you like best. They also have all of the recipes for all of their different packets and formulas on their website for free. And you can go to drinkelement.com/LAURAESPATH and you can look them up, make your own version at home. I just like that it's already mixed up for me and the convenience of the packet, but they do have that option on their website as well. So thanks to Element for sponsoring this video. Okay, next is the food that takes up the biggest chunk of my budget, and yet it's the most important, honestly, and that is fatty beef. There are a lot of people that live a carnivore lifestyle and literally all they eat is fatty beef or ruminant animals and beef, salt, and water. You can survive on just beef only. it's much more difficult to do a carnivore diet without beef. And the key element that I said is fatty beef. So which type of fatty beef is really going to depend on what's on sale in the grocery store. Years ago, ribeyes used to be way more expensive. I spent a lot of years predominantly eating ribeyes because you could get ribeyes for under $10 a pound at, Walmart or Costco. They were like $10.99 a pound. And these days, ribeye prices are really high. So what I'm eating for my fatty beef is gonna vary. I eat a lot of chuck eye steaks, right? I try to get some type of fatty beef for under $10 a pound. This week, it happened to be T-bone steaks that are on sale. Now, T-bone steaks, this T-bone steak is a New York strip on this side, and this little guy right here is the filet. Now, fillets are fairly lean. New York strips are also not as fatty as a ribeye, but this is pretty untrimmed. So there's a good amount of fat right here on the outside. Plus I tried to find one that had like a really decent amount of marbling in it. And these were on sale at my local grocery store for $7.99 a pound. This pack of 2 steaks is 3 pounds. And so this one piece of meat is gonna be like 1.5 pounds. Take out the bone, like that's a solid meal for me. This with maybe a little bit of eggs or something for breakfast, like that's all I need in the day. I try to make sure that 4 or 5 days a week, I'm getting in some good fatty beef. It's how I keep my metabolism ramped up. It's how I really just make sure that my hormones are functioning properly, is by making sure that I'm eating a good amount of fatty beef. These chuck eyes that I mentioned were $9.99 a pound. You also could just buy a chuck roast. These were on sale at my local grocery store today for $7.99 a pound, and I could pull off that chuck eye piece. And so anything like my fatty beef staples, I kind of am looking for what's on sale. Chris eats a lot of picanha, which is the top sirloin cap. Sometimes you can find untrimmed tri-tip that has good fat on it. Those are maybe a little more difficult to find, the picanha and the tri-tip. Chuck eye steaks, chuck roast, skirt steak is another good one. Obviously, ribeyes are gonna be really fatty, so depending on your budget and what's on sale in your area, those would be my recommendation. Okay, next is kind of another category, and what I get is gonna depend on what's on sale, and that is chicken with the skin. That's the key part for me. I am able to find chicken thighs with this bone-in skin on. This was $1.99 per pound in my local grocery store. This is a chicken drumstick, which is Chris's favorite. We eat a lot of chicken drumsticks because it's $1.49. This entire huge pack was $8. Like, it's such a good deal, and it makes the perfect side to that beef that I was talking about. Also, wings and the chicken thighs with the skin on them. For some reason, if I'm ever feeling like in a funk and sick of meat and nothing sounds good, some crispy wings from the air fryer hits the spot. I have several recipes on this channel, for like cast iron skillet, air fryer, all the different ways that you can cook chicken with the skin on them. Great for the budget, great fat content, super delicious. The next couple foods are maybe not the most like perfect carnivore foods, and I might get a lot of flack for them, but to be honest, like, it's just reality for our life. And this is how we've been able to be consistent for the last 7 years, is you have to make this diet work with your lifestyle. Like, maybe that's a whole other rant, but we do eat weekly. Every single week, I eat hot dogs. It is a very fast breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I throw a couple hot dogs into the air fryer. I am careful of what kind of hot dogs I buy. I know that you can get like very clean, uncured hot dogs from Aldi. I really like the Costco brand, just the Kirkland all beef hot dogs. Also, like the Kroger chains has a beef brisket hot dogs, which are so delicious. We grill them, I throw them in the air fryer. One thing I am careful of with hot dogs though, is I try to avoid ones with corn protein or soy protein, like Nathan's hot dogs, and even the like Hebrew National Kosher hot dogs have soy protein in them. And the Nathan's hot dogs have corn hydrogenized protein in them. So I want ones that are gonna be a little cleaner. Should I eat them every day? I mean, I don't know, maybe. it's fine. You have to see how they make you feel. But I'm telling you, like being able to just throw a pack of hot dogs in the air fryer and have dinner done, or have it as a side dish to something else with my lunch, is just realistic. And it's been a staple for us for the last 7 years. Another food that I eat multiple times per week, every single week, is pre-shredded cheese. I know it's cleaner if you shred your own cheese, and dairy's not great for everybody. It's honestly not great for me in large quantities, but pre-shredded cheese is something that I can have. I call it my condiment. I sprinkle a little bit on my scrambled eggs. I put some on a taco bowl. I put it in my meatballs, but just having a little sprinkle of shredded cheese on top of my meats is just a really great way of adding a little flavor, making it fun, giving me some variety. Like, this is how I am able to sustain eating this way, and then in turn keep the weight off and be healthy, is because I keep little bits of things in that make it enjoyable for me. I do try to be very careful with not eating like bricks of cheese or slices of cheese, and I can kind of like put that as my boundary because I know I'll start eating way too much of it and gain some weight. But having a little bit of like a sprinkle of shredded cheese on top of things throughout the week is a way that I am able to like limit how much that I'm having and yet still enjoy the food and not feel like I'm restricting myself to the extreme. And why does it have to be pre-shredded? Because it's very convenient. So if that doesn't work for you, feel free to shred your own or don't have any dairy. This is just how I make it work in my very busy life. One thing I just mentioned was taco bowls. So what do I make taco bowls with? And that is ground beef. Typically, I'm buying the big 6-pound package of ground beef from Costco. This was on sale at my local grocery store today, so I just grabbed it while I was there. I do try not to eat ground beef every day. It doesn't really contain enough fat. Dr. Elizabeth Bright calls ground beef pre-digested food, right? Like it's already kind of ground up. And so your body's not getting some of those nutrients of like a steak. So I do try to prioritize having steaks. Best case scenario, you're eating steaks every day. I don't think that's in most people's budget. It's certainly not in mine. And I really just like the difference and the variety that I can have by having ground beef. I do taco bowls where I put the little bit of shredded cheese on top. You guys know I have multiple meatball recipes that end up being like a staple in our household for quick weeknight meals or just an easy, delicious lunch. I have some meatballs and some of those chicken legs that I showed you earlier. Ground beef is going to be a staple. It's also going to be a little more affordable than a steak, but it is not a steak replacement. It's just something that I try to have like a couple times a week. For you, that might be in the form of like a burger patty, but we want to make sure that like we're getting in really good fat from the beef. And I personally could not tolerate the rendered fat. So if I cook this beef down and there's a bunch of liquid fat, some people can eat that no problem. I would poop my pants. It would just run right, that liquid fat would run right through me. So I think that kind of depends on like your gut situation. Okay, here's our last food item, and then I'll share with you what my like weekly treat is. Last food is gonna be pork belly. This is a fantastic way to ease the budget. This can be anywhere from $3 to $5 a pound. I get these really big slabs from Costco. A lot of other, this maybe is a little bit harder to find in some grocery stores, but any butcher or specialty grocery store is gonna have it. Costco, Sam's Club, my Walmart, carries pork belly. I buy these big slabs. Actually, this week, those slabs at Costco were $10 off. So we got a couple slabs and then we just divided it up and froze them into these little sections. I do this in a lot of my videos. I will cut this into some little bite-sized pieces, throw it in the air fryer, and it's this like crunchy, it's like making your own cracklins, but it's crunchy, it's fatty, it's juicy and crunchy at the same time. It's a really good way to get in some extra fat, and it's just super budget friendly. So, okay, I think that was 8 total. Those are the foods that I eat every single week without fail. And then I would say once a week, I give myself like a little treat, or I call it my dessert. And that is usually on Sundays as we have like a big family meal, or Saturdays. And I cook up some fried cheese. There is this brand I get online. There are some stores like Aldi carries this specific type of cheese that you have to use. It's like called bread cheese or oven baked cheese. Aldi's carries it seasonally for some reason. Trader Joe's sometimes has it. This is the Gardner's Wisconsin cheese that I get from their website. They have more flavor. They have a zillion. This is like buffalo wing fried cheese, or, you know, jalapeno. They have a chipotle that Chris loves. I love the bacon flavor. The garlic, we already ate that one, is my favorite, and even just the original. You can grill it whole, throw it in the air fryer whole, fry it whole. I like to cut it into strips, especially because then like my family's gonna all fight over it. And then I will fry it in a couple tablespoons of butter and just rotate it on all sides until it gets like warm and gooey and crispy on the outside. And it's literally like eating a mozzarella stick, and it's like buttery and cheesy and goodness. And like, I could eat the whole brick of this every single day and I would gain a lot of weight. So we limit ourselves to once a week having some fried cheese. Now my kids are obsessed with it as well. And so because of that, like, our whole family will split this brick, which means I typically am only getting like one strip, which is probably for the best, but I literally look forward to this moment all week of eating this like fried gooey cheese, and it's just something that I get to look forward to. So if you need a really fun treat, especially around the holidays, you can check out, I'll link Gardner's below, or check out your grocery store and see if you can find it. I hope this video was helpful. I think sometimes we get a little overcomplicated about carnivore, or we want like a very specific meal plan or macro list. And I'm telling you, if you have 2 meals a day, you stick to these 8 foods, and then you kind of make some tweaks based on how you feel, like, I guarantee you, you are going to feel better. And most people can operate with having like, this is a lot of variety that I can create with these 8 foods, which is a lot of the reason why I've been able to stick to this for so long. And I don't have to get all crazy with a bunch of different recipes. And it just makes it like so simple and easy for me to stick to. So if you're feeling a little lost or overwhelmed on what to do or where to start with carnivore, like, just pick those 8 foods, eat them 2 times a day, and see how you feel, and make some tweaks as you go. Let me know in the comments below if there's any of your favorite staple foods that you're eating every single week that I missed, and thanks for watching.